We're getting into a Justice Thursday conversation, looking at how mediation, or rather how you can become a mediator when it comes to access to justice and alternative access to justice solutions. We'll be talking about those when our guest does arrive. I'm waiting for him to do that. But even as we do, we're continuing with certain conversations. And this puzzling thing, CT, whereby we're seeing 3 days of the anarchy that's happening. Already it has started to colour the tour of the president around Nairobi. That's what we know, that he's doing the Nairobi tour, having been in Eastleigh and then having been on the Thika Superhighway around Roysambu, or tried to be there, and then around Kawangware on this side of Lavington. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 spots over the last 3 days. But we have seen the same chaos, the same anarchy replicated in 3 of these areas in the same manner. That the wanton thievery, the wanton criminal activity has taken place right in the, in the sight, in the view of security agencies, namely the police. And so one must ask the question, what exactly is going on here? That you would look at it day one and you say, well, people just took advantage of, the large crowds in the area and decided to rob people blind. Okay. Then day 2, the same thing happened, if not worse. And then day 3, it happened again with the same descriptive elements taking place. So you have to ask a question, just like CT is so puzzled this morning. Really, what is going on? And why should it continue in this manner? While police are watching, people are being robbed in such a violent manner, but it still continues. And these are the same people who are cheering on the president as he arrived, and then went to rob people after that. It seems orchestrated to me. I mean, I'm just going to come right out and say it. It's not normal, organic criminal behavior.
No, they knew that where you have the president, you will have crowds of people. It's clear. But why I'm puzzled, where you have the president, security will also be heightened.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, what we are reading, hearing about, seeing clips about, seems to be these people couldn't give a flying hoot about the security. They are not deterred. Security, among other things, supposed to deter. These ones are unmoved. How? What brings about a situation where you have people perpetrating crime in broad daylight?
CT, I said there's a picture of a guy removing a vehicle's door. It's not just something that you lift off. The door. On screen thing while there are people sitting in the vehicle. And that is happening, and there are police presence around. It is not possible for the president to go anywhere. And I said those people are lined up like dominoes along the street when he comes.
It is strange.
Yeah.
On a normal day, in a normal road where there are no policemen, one doesn't even hear of such a thing.
No.
Yeah. On a day when police presence, security presence, including plainclothes, is heightened. And you see this. I mean, surely, aren't you puzzled?
You see, even the roads, especially the roads around Kangare, because I happen to use that road. On a normal day, it's a beehive of activities. No police in sight. Mm-hmm. Everyone is just going about their business. Mm-hmm. How is it that the day when the president is coming, security is heightened, people are cheering the president, the robbing thievery is happening in the glare of the police, and no one's saying anything, doing anything? No,
it's puzzling.
No.
For me, it's very, very puzzling. It's really puzzling.
And even if that's happening, what's the responsibility of the owner of the event, the president, in perhaps you've seen it happen once, twice, cancel these tours?
No. I don't think that, it would be easy to report it on day one and just say that, that's what's happening. People are taking advantage and stealing and robbing. But usually with this, there's something and there's someone behind it. Something and someone behind it. And that the police, have you heard that, I think we heard that a number of people were arrested. CT, there was this thing of a tire hurt on somebody. And
and then even a motorbike burnt. I was hearing about it today.
But that was not the police.
That was the people.
You see, it was not the police then who were arrested.
Who decided they've had enough.
They will be vigilante.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I brought that in is because the chaos that we speak of, that's what happens.
Yeah.
The public then decide we've had enough of this.
I'm not going to take this anymore.
The problem with that is innocent people will get killed in the process. Somebody just says this person looks like, and for all you know, it was a robber who should have been paid. Decides they're pointing at someone. and the crowd doesn't pause. They just say someone.
Yeah.
Lawlessness has a way of spiraling out of control. And we are seeing the makings of one. Because unless something of this sort is reined and checked in, then you get to a point where you're even afraid to go to a public place.
But is that people are already saying? Yeah. People are already saying today, tell us where the president might be going today so that we can make sure we avoid that area.
Yeah.
So do you not think that was the end? That was the goal at the end of the day? That number one, stop people from going, or number two, people have also suggested that the president should just then cancel this Nairobi tour and then go and do something else. Maybe that was the intent in the first place.
I don't think he should cancel the tour.
Yeah.
No. Let the tour go on. We've had 3 days. We've talked about it. Let's see what happens today.
Where is he meant to be going today? I'm not quite sure where he might be going today. Probably now they're not even going to share that with you until he actually gets there because of things like this.
Well, there's a clear map that was drawn for us by the Star, telling us, from here he goes here, from here he goes here. The from here he goes here, which I read, actually has to do with the cities.
Yeah.
He's in Nairobi. Then he's supposed to go where exactly? Oh, it's the places he has already gone.
Okay.
I misread.
Okay. So it's possible that he's in the city for another day. It's possible that it's going to be a week, kind of like what he's been doing when he went to the coast and when he was in Northeastern and then in Western. If he's going to be in the Nairobi region for a week, probably looking at it ending tomorrow. But let's see. But the thing is there somebody who's trying to sabotage the image of the tours by doing this? Because for me, it is just too overt. It is too crazy.
Did we hear of anything when he was on the coast? No. Did we hear of anything when he was in Mandera?
Well, the chiefs got abducted a day before he got there, but you know.
And then there's a bit of heckling in Garissa.
Yeah.
But this, we're referring to what we've seen. No,
we didn't. And you have to ask the question, so what's going on here? It wouldn't be the first time that we've heard about goons for hire. It wouldn't be the first time we've said, okay, criminal elements. But for me, why do we not see any kind of police intervention in these things?
Or
3
maybe
days
the
going.
police are still investigating. And when they're through the investigations, we will actually get to understand.
CT, my dear.
Yes?
By the time a vehicle is parked and that there are two individuals, enough time for one to even put his hand on the shoulder of another while this one is inside the vehicle trying to take whatever they can take. It's not a 3-second affair. You must have been there for about a minute or two, right? By the time somebody has opened a door in front, is holding the vehicle open while another one then is trying to get into approach, and the back door is also open for these things to happen, and somebody has been able to take a picture. Trust me, it is more than enough time for a police officer, for police operative to be able to go there and either dismiss this group of people or arrest somebody.
Especially at a presidential event, because security is always around, even after the president
We've been
leaves.
told he's in Kibra today.
Yes.
This should be interesting.
Very interesting.
Good Lord. So, why do we not have a response from the police?
I'm sure they'll respond in due course.
Oh my goodness. There's something going on. And to me, it stinks. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. I'm telling you, there's something wrong here.
And you see, this coming just at the backdrop, because on Sunday, we know the young people went to Roysambu. We know what happened there. GSU had been deployed before the fact. That means police are always there.
Oh, they know.
Thing is, this instant, intentionally, they're missing out at a presidential event.
No, there's something that's going on, and somebody's put some lemon in the soup. It doesn't. This is not. It's not working for me as just crowds and criminal activity. Now that narrative is not. It's not being spun properly for me at all.
When you have presidential visits, that usually is the safest place to be.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Now we're seeing that it's a complete opposite.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because even I remember when I attended a national event last year here at Uhuru Gardens, you couldn't enter without an ID. You know what I mean? And security is with you each and every single corner you make.
So you have to have your work ID.
You have to work and your national ID. Displayed, including the one that you're given by the government for the event. And any corner you make, including at the gathering, at the crowds, there is always a police officer somewhere.
Let me ask you something. events such as these, the presence of police and security agencies, because it's not just the police, it's special branches of the police that are also there. I mean, the DCI is on ground, those secret guys with NIS, the ones who are in plain clothes because you never know really who they are. But are they there to protect the president, or are they there to maintain law, or only, or is it also to maintain law and order in an event where the president is around? I see you smiling.
That's a good spin. Feels like they're only there to protect the president.
The thing is this: you do not want anything untoward to happen. So you are there to ensure that any contingency, anything that that has the remotest possibility of happening, is something you're prepared for. And it's not just your regular police service individuals.
Exactly.
No. You will have these elite people who you never know, you never see. You know those guys who have their guns on their thighs?
Yeah, man. With the strap over there, and then they wear those aviator glasses, and then some of them wear their hats backwards.
And they're very friendly. Seriously. They're very, very friendly fellas.
Yeah.
Those ones. And they can be in plain clothes, and they can be in uniform. Okay? Now, just to ensure that all bases are covered. Now, the bases we are speaking of are some of the bases that should be covered, because in addition to that, there should be security for the public. Okay. Now, what we're then saying is that in these 3 days, we have seen no security for the public whatsoever.
Kabisa?
That's what we're saying. Now, if there's no security for the public, how safe is the president when he does these tours then?
And then what kind of effrontery do these people have in the first place to be able to climb into a bus, for goodness sake? There are people who are climbing into a bus, the full body into the bus, to be able to grab things out of people. I also wonder, this bus driver is parked here. There's no vehicle in front of him. He's parked there for this wanton robbery to take place. Then what happens thereafter? My point is that there was too much happening for too long a period of time for anybody to say that police or any other security operative could not do something about it in the moments in which they were happening. This is not just your grab and go off of a motorcycle kind of thing, phone theft. No, this was stationary activity.
On an ordinary day, where the president isn't visiting anywhere, people are going about their business. Someone steals something and someone shouts "Mwizi." The moment a crowd gathers to meet justice, the police arrive. This is an ordinary day. It's not as though the police were specifically waiting for this thief to be caught. No, they were just going about their normal business. Okay? So how then do you explain a special day when security operators, everything is heightened? It's not regular, it's heightened.
It is pre-planned.
My friend, do you know how long,
Yes.
how early they get to those places?
Yes.
And make sure they've combed, they've done what?
And sweep.
Yes, the people whom they know tend to have the thuggish tendencies have been spoken to. Okay, those who have been told to go back home where they come. All manner of things are done. And then you're telling me that this thing happens amidst all this background. No. This one needs to be explained.
It needs to be looked into. It needs to be explained. What happened? Somebody needs to answer.
It's too bizarre.
It is too bizarre, sure.
Yeah, because even I saw there's a guy who was roughed up in Kawangware, and just opposite is an AP line. Just across the road is an AP line. You know, an AP line means a security installation. They should have been able to come through for this guy. Nothing. Zero. Because outside that AP line are police officers who man that gate.
Or are the police on strike and we don't know?
It's interesting because I've just seen a comment here and somebody says we expect too much from the Kenyan police. Is that the case? Do you expect too much?
No.
Do you expect too much from a security agency who's supposed to? I'm sorry, but yes, I do. I expect a lot. You know what? This is the same group of people, and I'm going to keep giving the examples of the things that we have seen that have been stellar activity, right? I'll go back to Westgate. Remember Westgate and what happened? I was at Westgate with my daughter. I was at Westgate with my daughter. It was a terrifying experience. But a few days after Westgate, these guys had been able to trace the house to the door. to the door where some of these people were. They were able to trace and understand that individuals had been holed up and had opened a shop in Westgate months before they were now able to carry out this attack. They were able to, down to what people looked like, who they spoke to, who they loved, who they slept with, where they did everything. Kenyan police, without the help of anybody else. I'll give you another example. The same Kenyan police will be able to tell you that somebody had bought a phone, bought 42 SIM cards and was using them and called people and triangulated them or, rectanguled them or whatever it is that they say from one point to the other. Kenyan police have been able to find somebody to the bed where they are sleeping. Then you want to tell me that the same Kenyan police are not able to handle a group of thugs who are taking things from Kenyans who've worked hard and are just going about their business because the president went to a part of that city? I'm sorry, but we don't expect too much of the Kenyan, unless did somebody bring in somebody else for these instances that I'm talking about and dress them up in Kenyan police uniform, and then when they found out that information, they now told them to go back to where they came from? Were they not Kenyan police? So you want to tell me that the same Kenyan police are not able to maintain law and order like this? Come on, guys. No.
2022, when the president, when the country hosted the Africa Climate Summit at KICC, we had presidents here. And I remember in each and every single building, there was a sniper just manning. These are the very same police officers who have always gone through. Remember this Dusit D2 was handled by Kenyan police officers.
Exactly.
Talk about the Garissa. Unfortunately, we lost bodies, but it is the Kenyan police officers who dealt with that matter, and very many other instances that the police have been able to foil terrorism activities that would have happened in this country. We've seen people being arrested at the ferry with vehicles full of guns and whatnot. Kenyan police officers, who today we say we expect much from. Yes, we do.
Yes, you do. Because I've often said that, and I would say that call them what you want, but I think it's some of the best trained, best operating service that you have anywhere in Kenya. And that is why it's such a surprise that such a thing can be happening and nothing is done about it. It is because you know that they can do so much better. You know that they have been trained for. You know that they practice better. And so that is why speculation will become rife. When you see things like this happening, one day you say, okay. Day 2, okay. Day 3, has anybody been arrested over things like this that have happened? Has a thug been taken and shot somewhere and thrown in a gutter because of this that has happened? Have you heard?
The only action that has happened is Kenyans have taken the responsibility of the police to deal with the problem.
So one must ask, what on earth is happening? And I think I'm even more puzzled than you now. At the beginning, City, it was you who was puzzled. But now I'm properly puzzled. Because it doesn't make sense to me that these things can be happening. Number one, what you do, you taint the image of the tours of the president. That's what you've done. You want to make it seem as if where he goes, he's bringing trouble.
It's like he comes with chaos.
That's what you've essentially said. But then these things are happening in broad daylight, not under the cover of darkness, in broad daylight, not too far from where security operations are. Nah, man, tell me something else, but not this. Something is going on. Somebody is behind this. And I'm just going to be a conspiracy theorist. I have a PhD. Now that PhDs can do things. Conspiracy theorist this morning. I've gone to school. I've gotten the t-shirt and I've worn the gown. I am a fully fledged conspiracy theorist. There's somebody behind this thing. And it doesn't make sense to me. And today is another day when the tour is happening in another part of the city. God help us. God help people, because people are going to say they're going to stay away from it. They don't want to go and listen to what the president has to say if they're going to be robbed and police are not going to do anything about it.
The thing is, people will go.
People will go. People will shop.
And the area that is going to is populous. There are many people there.
Yeah.
The people live in congested areas. I want to observe what happens there today. I really do. Any presidential visit, my friend, the planning that takes place, the manner in which those places are secured, the number of security personnel who are everywhere, not just around there, but within the vicinity of that place. My friend, far away on the road, every security possibility and is taken.
Including traffic.
My friend, it is not a walk in the park situation. And you're telling me that this very tightly, clearly, well-managed precision, thieves come trotting in and they're just robbing people willingly and going about their business. And it isn't puzzling.
And you say it's normal. These things will happen because there are crowds, there are many people, these things will happen.
No.
And the police didn't know. No. I said, okay, let me give you another example. On a normal day, a friend of mine told me that there was a day he was in the city, right? And he was waiting for someone. You know how somebody can say, wait for me, I'm just going to be such things. So he stood there, he waited for a minute. This guy wasn't coming, so he took a walk. He just went round, and he was actually standing on the side of the Stanley. So he went round and he walked round down Kimathi Street, went round the Hilton actually, and then came back up. He stood around International Lifehouse for a minute, stood, nothing was happening. Took a walk, went round, came back around the Stanley. So he did the circuit about 3 times. On the 4th one, somebody just came to him and said, "Excuse me. What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
So of course he was rude. It was like, "Oh, who are you to step up to me?" The guy just showed him his ID. He said, "Yeah, I'm an officer, and I've been watching you. We essentially have been watching you. You've been going round and round and round.
Why are you going round?
Why are you going round and round? Number one, there is a financial institution not too far from here.
Yeah.
There are banks here. There are this here. There is
Office
that
of the
here.
President.
What are you
Parliament,
doing here?"
Yeah.
And you've just been going around. Umeongea kwa simu, but you're not moving. This is somebody who is in the city where there are very many people, one individual, and somebody can find you and call you out and ask you what you're doing there. Of course, the guy had to say he's waiting for somebody. He had to call his friend in presence of the officer and say he's been waiting for me. And he told them, now what you do, go and sit down somewhere and wait somewhere else.
Not here.
Not here. Then you want to come and tell me that police are not able to handle
him. He did 4 rounds. On the 2nd round, somebody will walk alongside you and ask you, "Can we help you?"
Hey. So what are you telling
lost.
me? Yeah.
Why? Yes.
Yeah.
You must remember that we have a police system that we inherited, and the system was created to ensure that natives stay in their place. Okay? Natives being Africans, okay?
Yeah.
And no violence was spared when it came to dealing with natives. Over time, it's the natives are the ones who are in power, the policemen themselves are natives, and the Wananchi are natives.
Are natives.
The training, that's why I asked the question of training yesterday. Because when people behave in a certain way, there must be something that's making them behave. Police service is not taught in primary or secondary schools.
Yeah.
You need to go to a training school
Specialized.
where you are trained. So what is that they train you in, so that when you come out, you behave the way you do? Because the thing about education, whatever form it is, it changes you.
Yeah.
Because you interact with knowledge, you interact with experiences, and that changes you. So this situation that we have is going to unfold, and we will understand what was actually going on in due course.
Exactly.
We will understand. But it confounds the very processes of security that you normally have with a presidential visit. It confounds it completely. But what is the purpose of these tours, whether it was the coast, whether it was Mandera, or northeastern region of the country,
Yeah.
whether it's in Nairobi? I mean, what is the purpose of these tours?
It's political.
Political what?
It's stamping authority in terms of, reminding people that he's there and that he's, wanting to remain there and come back later.
Don't you know that you're already there? Don't you know that you've been campaigning anyway?
Well, look, I always say that a lion doesn't need to tell anybody that it's a lion.
Exactly.
Because it's doing what it ought to do. But if you find that you need to remind people constantly about what the good that is, maybe there's some questions that you need to ask yourself. But that's exactly what we see happening.
But actually, you do need to tell people. Because if something is happening in Korogosho, you think somebody who lives in Kawangware knows it's happening, no? If it's happening in Lavington, you think somebody who lives in Muthaiga knows, no? Somebody who lives in Donholm, do you think they have any idea what's happening in Dagoretti? No. They do not, actually. You tend to be concerned about where you live. You tend to be concerned.
Maybe it's also an opportunity for the president to tell the people what he, plans to do. I mean, the chapati making machine came out on... Okay, the news of the intent to have a chapati making machine came out to the people on Tuesday. You know, so information like that, and that's the reason why you would do something like that. So maybe there's new stuff that you want to do as president. Maybe there are things that you want to announce. You know, people had been complaining about a road, and the president said, nipatie mwezi mawili hivi, takuwa na nyorosha huku, mtakuwa na barabara kabisa. So if he didn't do a tour like that, he was not able to talk to people, would he then be able to share this news and information? It's an opportunity tool for him.
But the president can as well just have meetings with Kura and Kero, who are in charge of these roads, meet with them and listen to the area representatives, members of parliament, who he has access to anyway, because I saw the Great North MP, Beatrice Elachi, was there with the president. If there are issues, you would assume that she would walk to the president's office and have that conversation with him, and the president would do the necessary. Like he keeps saying, the president doesn't need to tell us, I will do it. Do it. The work will speak for you.
Yeah.
No. So you need to come and tell people that you want to do something in order for us to know that you're going to do it.
There's something about the president visiting your area, and people have never seen him getting to see him. Some people just see him on TV. It's a greet and meet the people tour. And for political purposes, it is useful. It is very, very useful. People can say, I actually saw the president. I actually talked to the president. The president actually came and bought bananas at my stall.
Okay.
It's a time-honored tradition. In Western countries, you walk around and carry babies and even kiss them. Okay? It's what you do. Then you go and visit a police station. Then you go and visit a hospital. Then you go and... So when the president stands up and says, I have seen what the people of this particular city go through. See... Yes.
Aseto is laughing. You know why he's laughing? Can I tell you? Can I tell them why you're laughing?
Tell them.
Because Aseto does not believe, and I'm speaking for Aseto here. Aseto does not believe that just because somebody has come out to say that I will build this road tomorrow, or that I will make sure that this and this happens, or that I will, have plans to install this million chapati a day machine, just because you said it doesn't actually mean that you're going to do it, and that we're looking forward to the day when these things will actually happen. Nespa?
Kapsa.
Okay, that's why Aseto is laughing. CT. He doesn't believe.
Because remember, we got into this office with a 9-point agenda, and over 200 promises that were made, and the other day we saw only 14 of the over 200 were actually in the pipeline. As we speak today, 3 years later, what has been done? Why should I believe that when you come to my area, then all of a sudden funds will be there and there will be intentional maneuvers to ensure that what you're telling me today, not in 2022 or 2021, will actually be done within the 2.5 years remaining?
I think there's a kind of fever that comes over individuals, and remember that the person of the president is an individual, right? I think there's a certain kind of fever that comes over someone when you're met by large crowds of people, and that it comes over you to want to be able to tell them things that you would like to do for them. Whether or not you have the intent to do it is totally different. And I'll give you examples. Madaraka Day, what's the one in December? First is Jamhuri Day. There's Jamhuri Day on the 12th of December. It was celebrated in Kericho County 2 years ago. Yeah. And they were told that the stadium would be completed. Okay. Now, the next year, it was Madaraka Day in June. Yeah. It was in June. Kerichoans were told... I've just coined that name, just allow me. We're told that the stadium would be completed in a year. A year later, on Madaraka Day 2024, the celebrations took place in Bungoma. They were also told that their stadium also, Buhungu, would be completed. Everything would be made very nice in 1 year's time. We're in March. Another Madaraka Day is coming on the 1st of June. And I think we've already been told where it's going to be celebrated. I don't know if it's a state. So now you see, the large crowds of people, the activity that's going on sometimes gives you that thing where you'll be able to tell people, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do like this. But if you actually do it, that's now the rarity. That we've seen many an occasion whereby you need these tours to kind of build people's confidence in you. So what you have at least a year of people thinking about you top of mind and saying, he just came here last month and he said he was going to do this. Just give him time. It's going to happen. Barabara nitanyorosha kabisa itakuwa sawa. Those people that he told that on Tuesday, do you know where they are right now? They're thinking, it's the next 2 months. The road will come. So what happens? The president is where? Here. Just here.
You know,
everything that he has said to you is just here. It's a political tool, and if you ask me, it's brilliant.
In the Victorian era, there was a gentleman who wrote a poem. The book was called Rewards and Fairies. People don't know much about rewards and fairies.
Fairies, like magic, fairies, those twinkle fairies.
Fairies, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are.
Okay.
And the poem was entitled If. Gentleman wrote, it was called Rudyard Kipling.
Kipling.
And this is what he said. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. This is Rudyard Kipling. Sometimes what seems obvious is not what you think it is. It's what I've come to understand about political processes, because it has been said repeatedly that one of the things that is, should we say, typified by the president's speeches are promises that will never be kept and yet are made. I am of a completely different opinion, though, because I have listened to these promises and the repetition of it. There are those who are of the opinion that he says them because he says them. Says them because he wants them to be believed. And I will hold that thought to be continued.
Indeed, because he wants them to be believed. You say those things because you want people to believe you.
You say those things because you probably even intend. But something interferes. The interference is the discussion. If indeed the intentions are true, what is it that makes them not true? The if question comes in. That's what I was leading to. But the details of the if, we'll look at another time.
Indeed.
Yes.
We've been having, this is a justice conversation that we've been having, and we've been looking into the issues around, criminality over the last couple of days, and what has been happening that, mar the president's Nairobi tour, as it were, in terms of what has been happening.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.